Hi guys, welcome to another screencast. So today we're looking at the conjugation or how to use regular AR verbs. We've already looked at a lot of AR verbs like cantar, bailar, escuchar. And today we've used AR verbs just to talk about things that we like to do or don't like to do. For example, me gusta cantar, I like to sing. And when we're using it in this way, when we're using it in this function, no one's really doing the singing. We're just stating that we like to sing. And what we're doing today is we're learning to actually use the verbs and put them into action or into practice. Meaning, I sing, or you sing, or she sings. So I may like to sing, and then I can even state the fact that I sing well, or that she sings well. Or I can ask questions such as, do you sing? And that's what we're doing today. And we're looking at verbos regulares, which are regular verbs, and all that means is that there's a pattern to the conjugation on how we work with these verbs. So let's go ahead and move forward here. So we've looked at the infinitive, right, of a verb, an infinitivo, like hablar, meaning that the verb ends in AR, either ER or IR. Those are the endings. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got a tree, we've got an árbol, okay, and then the bottom part of the tree is what we call la raíz, right, the root of the tree. So if we get grammatically, specific here, we can say the same thing about verbs. Is that verbs have a root, okay, which is the main part of the verb, and then they have an ending. Okay, so we have la raíz, and then we have la terminación, which is the ending. So for hablar, the root or la raíz would be habl, and the terminación would be ar. And what's happening here now when we conjugate these verbs is that what we're going to have is the root will stay the same, but the ending is going to change, and it'll change according to who you are talking to, okay, or who you're talking about, and that is actually putting the verb into action. So hablar, habl, and then ar, and so what we've got here are the conjugations. So to create a conjugation, what you do is you are going to drop the infinitive part of the verb, so you're going to drop the AR, and you are going to add a new ending according to who is actually talking. So if I want to say I talk, I would add an O, and it would be yo hablo. Okay? Tú hablas, you talk. Él or ella habla, he or she talks, or usted habla, you formally talk. Okay? And then there's usted. Nosotros hablamos, we talk. Nosotras hablamos, we talk, feminine group. And vosotros habláis. Or vosotras habláis, and ellos, ellas hablan, or ustedes hablan. And that's just what we're doing here. We're actually now just getting this verb and we're using it with a person. Okay? So, o, as, a, amos, ais, an. So here we have them. So we've got basically regular AR verbs and the endings. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. And this is the pattern we're looking at. So, yo hablo, tú hablas, él o ella habla, nosotros hablamos, vosotros habláis, ellos o ellas hablan. And this pattern is going to stay true for all regular AR verbs. And here we'll specifically look at hablar, and here's la raíz, here's the root. There's the infinitive ending. Here are the conjugation endings. And these are going to be different, specific to each subject, to each person that we're talking about or talking to, and then here is the root. So it's the same for all forms. So yo hablo, tú hablas, él habla, hablamos, habláis, hablan. Just notice that there's an acento over the a in habláis. And that's basically the concept, and now we just apply it to all regular AR verbs. So let's take a look at a different verb. For example, we've got the verb of cantar. So the raíz is cant, the ending of the infinitive is ar, is that verbo AR, and we have o, as, a, amos, ais, an. And now the root's going to be the same for all of them, so let's throw that in there, right? For all these same subjects. And yo canto, I sing, tú cantas, you sing, él, ella, or usted canta, he or she sings, or you formally sing, we sing, nosotros cantamos, you guys sing in Spain, vosotros cantáis, and ellos or ellas or ustedes cantan, they sing. Pretty straightforward. And let's look at one more, bailar, so the root, or la raíz is bail. The ending of the infinitive is ar, is the verbo AR, and that's what we're looking at. It's just verbos AR today. And then here we go, o, as, a, amos, ais, an, and then here are our pronouns, and, oops, looks like we're missing one there, and bail, so yo bailo, tú bailas, él baila, bailamos, bailáis, bailan. Yo bailo muy bien, tú bailas más o menos, ella baila excelentemente, etc., etc. And that's really the concept, okay? There's your pattern, o, as, a, amos, ais, an, o, as, a, amos, ais, an, okay? And I don't believe you have this in your notes, but terminación específica, all we're saying is that each ending is specific to each subject. So if I want to say I sing, it's always going to be yo canto. If I say yo cantas, I would be wrong, right? Because the ending of as, it's for tú, not yo. And that's really all this is saying here, okay? Yo hablo mucho español en la clase de español. Hablo mucho español en la clase de español. Okay? And the other thing is because it's specific, if you look at the first two sentences, when I say hablo, that's specific to yo. So there's no need to put the yo there. If you say hablo, we can infer that I speak. Okay? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So here's a list of some regular AR verbs that we've got. Bailar, cantar, hablar, escuchar, estudiar, mandar, montar, nadar, pasar, patinar, pintar, mirar, practicar, tocar, trabajar. And you would conjugate them all the same way with that o, as, a, amos, ais, as ending. Esquiar is technically a regular verb, but they call it an irregular verb because it has an accent over the I. But we're just going to use it. You know, if you miss that little accent on esquiar, I'm not worried about it. Here's your terminology. Okay, so la conjugación is the conjugation, and then we've got la terminación is the ending, la raíz is the root, regular is a regular verb, and that's really kind of all you need for this. And then here we go. So we've got a couple things here. So number one, you need to write the root for these verbs. So go ahead and pause it and write the root, la raíz, for these verbs. There's an example for you. So modelo, bailar, the root of bailar is bail. Cool, so now you've paused it and you've gotten these done, so let's see what they look like. And these are the roots for all these verbs. So make sure you got that right. And I'm going to go ahead and move forward. So now here's some practice. So just make sure that you read the sentence and that you write the correct verb conjugation for these sentences. So, mi amigo Luis, en paréntesis, pintar, muy bien. Él es muy talentoso. So you need to take pintar according to Luis and write the correct conjugation. So for number one, I'm going to go ahead and do that with you. Mi amigo Luis. So we're talking about él. So o, as, a. So take the AR, drop it, and add the a ending. And so the answer here would be mi amigo Luis pinta muy bien. Él es muy talentoso. So go ahead and pause it and do the rest. Cool. Let's check out the answers. So, tú eres muy sociable. Hablas mucho por teléfono. The ending is as, hablas. Lola y yo, nosotros somos muy deportistas y nadamos mucho. Número 4. Ellos dibujan un monstruo muy feo para el proyecto de Español 1. Y número 5. Vosotros no trabajáis nada. Sois muy perezosos. Cool. And this will be the next screencast. We'll talk about verbs that end in ER or IR in their conjugations. Cool. I hope that worked for you. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And we'll do a little practice in class now in groups. Gracias.